Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you. And this ties directly into what the gentleman was saying about the budget. I would like to see a mill decrease of 19 to 20%. And this is based on the fact that the appraised value of the properties has increased an average of 19%. So this would equate to not a tax decrease or a tax increase, but keeping the taxes the same. This increase has hit homeowners hard, and I think that we should consider the fact that taxpayers in this county are fighting inflation just like the city is. I don't think this is the time to be adding new employees. I feel that the employees that are here, they deserve a reasonable increase in their pay because inflation has hit us so hard. Has hit them, but it has also hit our senior citizens and our people on fixed incomes. And this artificial increase in the appraised value of homes is really just an increase in inflation to most people that have lived in their homes for years and have no intention of selling their homes. They plan on probably dying there. And I feel like this should be taken into consideration. I think that the county should be looking at, instead of increasing employees, should be looking at each department decreasing their budget by 5%. I feel like that if you really look long and hard, that you can find places that you can save money. You can see where things are wasted. You can see how maybe you can combine trips to cut down on the fuel. This is just my opinion, and I know that we are looking at growth, but this is not the time to increase taxes. People are hurting. People are trying to find money for food and fuel to get back and forth to work. And it's not the time for luxuries. And the county, if we're having to tighten our belts, then the county should do the same. And I know that you guys are working hard, but just look at it long and hard and think about the suffering of your taxpayers and how this drastic increase is affecting them. Thank you so much for your time, and I would also like to add briefly that the presentation that the people before me made on the Blue Mile is awesome. I think it's something really, really great for our city. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking to us.
Nan Rushing.
We're going to let everybody speak, and then, not y'all, but if we have comments, we'll make them again.
Back in December, when I was paying my property taxes and all taxes, one of the workers there said to me, "Why are you paying $933 school tax and you're 92 years old? You need to see John Scott." Well, this is a story. I thought, what good would that do? I've been to John Scott's office twice. I've written him letters and letters and letters. And so I just kind of let it go by. But when I got my assessment the other day, I wrote him a letter. And I just want to read the letter that I wrote to John Scott. "Dear Mr. Scott, why am I writing this? There are two reasons. when I paid my 2021 property tax, one of the tax commissioners asked me why I was paying $933 school tax at my age 92. I was told to go see you, John, and I said, that's a joke. The person was shocked at my having to pay school taxes, period. I said, Bulloch County has no consideration for helping senior citizens, especially those 80, 90, or 100. The more they can get from us, the more they levy on us. The person at the Commissioner Tax Office should see my 2022 school tax assessment. I took this out of the property. This does not include my property. My tax for 2022, and I am now 93 years old, is $1,031.81. That is ridiculous for a 93-year-old woman. It shows what a great burden, plus taxes added to that, is for a senior like me, who is, again I say, 93 years old. Who cares? Nobody. Nobody. Now I've been paying school taxes for nearly 70 years. Enough is enough. This school tax is now a great burden to the elderly as we try to make adjustments to pay property taxes, sales tax, income tax, each-wash, premiums on our insurances, home, farm, auto, doctor bills, dentist bills, medication, groceries, utilities, gas, capital letters, repair and replace old worn out equipment. I just had to pay $1,600 for a pump. Yard work, church donations, and on go the expenses. Yes, I have some property tax that Delmas and I worked hard to have, but assessors are gradually taking it away from me since his death. With your taxation and re-evaluation, which continues to go up, the CRP program will terminate September the 30th, 2022. I will not re-enroll in it because it paid only $1,800 per year. Not even enough to pay the property tax.
Miss Nan, I hate to do this, but your time has expired.
Sir, can
Oh,
I
but
yield
please
my
let me
time?
say one more little thing, please.
What, just, sir,
May I yield my time to the lady?
you have 4 more minutes, yes ma'am.
Okay, I must say this. I will not re-enroll in that program, so there goes some more property tax. My house is over 100 years old, which is brick veneer, which Delmas and I remodeled. And my in-law's house is 86 years old, was built in 1936. And each one of them, the re-evaluation continues to go up. Listen to our pleas and do something about our anxiety of not knowing how much longer we can pay our taxes and other bills before we are told to pay or get out. There are many needs in the county, and who pays for a greater portion of these mostly the property owners. Do all pay their fair share? I heard that about 80 businesses, organizations, and elite persons are given special favors. Those favors are not the senior citizens. And so, as I continue this, they can see what adjustments we have to make on fixed incomes. I started teaching in the 40s. I made $99 a month. And then these who have retired, their fixed income is much higher than that. Well, last year I had to pay my assessment in October, November, and I had to get it in December. Whom can I go to as a 93-year-old and get some consideration in this county? Who? I'm sending this letter, as I have since I sent others, to John Scott. And I wrote him the same ending in this letter that I have in my file, 4 other letters that I have written to him. And I close with this. I am 93 years old on a fixed income, a widow with no income from my husband's Social Security, to whom I was married 61 years. Not even a widow's amount I'm not allowed any. My no biological relatives own here. I have none whatsoever. All I have are my church friends, my community, which is the greatest community that anyone could have. I have to fend for myself. But as I know that John Scott is a pastor, and I said this to him, for God said to take care of the widows and the orphans. I ask you to please look at this and this assessment for me. I cannot believe that I have been assessed a school tax of $1,031.81 at my age. I guess I'll have to get out on the street with a little tin cup if it keeps going up and up and up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for considering us senior citizens, and especially those of us who are nearing the finish line. I know that I have been very fortunate. God's been very good to me, and so have some of the people on this commission board have been very good to me. But quit reevaluating my property so high that you can get so much more taxes from me. Thank you so much, and thank you.
Miss Nan, with your smoke, I think your finish line is a long way down.
I don't know about that. I hope it is, because God has been good to me, and I appreciate that so much.
Thank you for your presentation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Anthony Waters, and I'm co-owner of LA Waters Furniture. We operate 2 stores here in town, as well as I Save More Furniture. We also have some commercial retail space that we lease here in Bulloch County. And I'm here this morning to urge you to be thoughtful of the impact that your decisions on property taxes will have on the retail merchants and citizens of your county. Retailers contribute quite a bit of revenue to Bulloch County, as each of us pays property taxes on the buildings that we occupy, no matter whether we own them or whether we lease them. In addition to the property taxes on real estate, we also pay property tax. Retailers pay property taxes on the very inventory that we hold to sell. Yes, these are real taxes that we pay each year, no matter whether we make a profit or even make a sale. And of course, retailers are the ones who work for the state and county and city to collect the sales taxes and SPOS revenue that fund all the infrastructure and special projects that you determine need to be done. Don't ever think that these cumulative taxes that are now 8% in Bulloch County don't have some impact on the rate of sales that each of us has, because I think consumers give thought to that every time they make a purchase, especially on bigger ticket purchases. Every time they have to add 8% to it, and it's a big problem for us. Statesboro and Bulloch County have been very fortunate to be a prime retail hub for this area, and we draw people from 50, 75 to 100 miles that actually come to Statesboro and shop for goods and services. But you may notice that some of the retail spaces in our area are beginning to go dark, and some of these merchants that you depend on for revenue are beginning to leave our market. The difference in making a profit and a loss for a retailer is not a great deal of money. Each time you raise tax revenue, no matter whether through raising the millage rate or through an increase in the property values, you are making it more and more difficult for these businesses to survive. We've had a tremendous economy and recovery here in Georgia, but you know that the dark clouds of recession are gathering around us, and our nation is kind of looking at some tough times ahead of us, and it's really time to begin to prepare by looking for ways to trim budgets. I know each one of us in business will have to do that, and you don't need to be raiding the revenue that your citizens need to weather the looming economic storm that is before us. I would just urge you to be thoughtful in your discussions on the impact that your increases in tax revenue will have on the citizens in Bulloch, the citizens and businesses in Bulloch County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
William Emily.
Morning. My name is William Emily. I live out at 9018 Oakfield Drive, Statesboro, Georgia. And definitely proud of being here. The reason why I'm wish to speak today is because the tax, from what I'm understanding from the newspaper, is that the reason why we need to raise additional funding, I'll take the word tax out, additional funding to operate our county is because the cost of law enforcement, courts, social services, infrastructure maintenance, solid waste management have risen disproportionately to the amount of property taxes and other revenues generated. So this is the reason why we need to raise revenue. Again, with my question to the Blue Mile project and to every one of our projects that we have, does the county look at providing the revenue prior to these projects going in place? So therefore, our taxpayers don't have to have the burden of funding these projects. And what I'm seeing is that we're not doing that. We're not levying that if our growth of Statesboro is causing us to have more police officers, more courts, more infrastructure, more burden on the solid waste, then why don't we levy the burden of that financial burden on these new projects as they go in? No different than in an industrial park or anything. If I wish to have 2 loaves of bread when I go to the grocery store, I have to pay for 2 loaves of bread right then and there. If I wish to put 5 gallons of gas in my truck, I better look at my wallet first, as everybody does. These are the things which I looked at. I'm also representing 1,470 senior citizens, property tax owners in Bulloch County. I was appointed one of the representatives. This is what I'm looking at. Social Security increase for 2022 was 5.9%. Yahoo! We got a 5.9% pay raise. Same year, 2022, my 401k or our 401k investments want losses of 10 to 20%. So that's what we're banking on. That's your all emergency fund, like our emergency fund. It went down 10 to 20%. Health insurance Medicare went up 15.5%. Georgia inflation rate is 13.3%. Bulloch County Board of Education budget for 2023 is at 10.4%. Bulloch County tax increase is at 2.02%. My question to the county is, with all of these increases and the Social Security only went up 5.9%, how are you going to extrapolate, how are you going to get out of that wallet, out of my savings account, the additional 2.2% in taxes? And how you're going to do it is because if I don't pay my taxes, then I become delinquent, and then my property is taken from me. Is that fair? Is that right? 8 years ago, I came in front of this county commissioners. As I say, if you're going to give me a headache, give me an aspirin. My aspirin to you all back then, 8 years ago, was to help support a school tax exemption for the senior citizens. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Ronnie Pope.
Good morning. My name's Ronnie Pope. I own RJ Pope Menswear, downtown Statesboro with my two sons. To the board, thank you for letting us come and speak. I don't envy your job. Matter of fact, I wouldn't have it. But you guys were elected to represent us, and that's what we expect you to do. Keely, thank you so much for the Blue Mile. I just wanted you to know I've been downtown for 58 years on South Main Street. And I've been there before it was cool to be downtown. But it's beginning to be cool to be downtown. But we have fought for 58 years to stay down here. And it's getting harder and harder every year. I'm not here to ask you, commissioners, to defund the sheriff's department, defund the police, or the fire department. I'm not here to do that, or not to give people their raises 6%. I think is what y'all there offered up, which only one trip to the gas station will eat that up for them. We're having tough times. This community and all communities have gone through a lot in the last 5 years. I mean, our business with the pandemic, and then we came out of that, and we made it through, thanks to God and to this community's support, we were able to make it through. But the tax increases on real estate, real property, commercial property, we have all of that in the city of Statesboro. And we own property in the county. We have not sold any property. And all of you know what a capital gains tax is, right? Does everybody know what that is? I'm sure you do. It's like when you increase values on my house or my property that I've been there for 15, 20, just like Ms. Nana Russell said. It's like a capital gains tax. Every year, but you don't have the capital. The capital is not there because you didn't sell anything. And I don't intend to sell my businesses. I don't intend to sell my house. I'm gonna stay here. So she's right. How you cap or put a cap for senior citizens or anyone over 55 years old, I don't know how you do it. But we need to come up with a plan to offer up some ideas for you to raise money for the county without spending and raising property tax. The property owner, I don't know how many property owners there are, Mr. Couch, that pays tax in Bulloch County, but I'd say probably 48% that own real estate. that pay taxes. The rest of them, of course, they pay it with the splash and the others, the sales tax, which we certainly, I know that that's going to be offered up again on the ballot, which I will support. Which, like Mr. Waters said, we work 6 days a week, 52 weeks a year, collecting tax for the county, the city, federal, and whoever. Anyway, only got 23 seconds. I just want to say thank you, but look, there's a group of people younger than me. I'm too old for this. I don't need to be up here. Don't want to be up here. But I'm trying to speak for senior citizens, and I'm speaking so we can stay in business. My family can stay in business, and we can continue to contribute to this community like we have for 58 years. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, if the commissioners wouldn't mind, I'll give my time to Mr. Bulloch.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's about all I have, but I thank you for yielding. The only one thing that I might say, I have a note here. Suggestions on how we could maybe raise money besides property tax. One of those would be like, I know we're fixing to build new schools at Southeast Bulloch. I understand that real estate costs a lot of money. I understand that it was offered to the county and to the Board of Education a lot less. And then a group of developers got it, which I don't blame the developers. And that price increased substantially over a period of 9 months. If I'm wrong, correct me.
You are. It never was offered to the county, only the Board of Education. Or to private individuals. The Board of Education come in and, I guess it was offered to the Board of Education first. They turned it down. The private individuals came in, purchased it. Board of Education changes their mind, goes back and purchases it for probably twice what.
It was twice, well, what I heard was twice that. I heard the county had to approve it. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Correct,
Well,
if I'm wrong.
Well, somebody made a very bad decision for purchasing property that was doubled in price in 9 months. If I were the developer, I don't even know who they are, don't care. I could have been one of them. And hey, I'd have done the same thing. But gosh, we gotta have better leadership than making decisions like that. And we're talking about building new schools, and Mr. Couch talking about that we, in the future, had to have more schools in the Southeast Bulloch area. Where's that money gonna come from? Can we do it with some impact tax fees? How can we do it? Somebody's got to pay besides these property owners. Because I'll tell you what, they had enough. Not only locally, they've had it nationally, the whole 9 yards. Thank you.
Mary Hyde. Larry Holmes.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioner. I'm sitting here listening at tax base, and when I got my taxes, I said some Sunday school words. Somebody may not know what that is. But my name is Larry Holmes. Truly, as I sit and listen and all the rest of with the taxes, but I'm here and I looked at my tax base and I thought I had a reason. Because several years ago, we went into a project to pave Hood Road. And the project, it took a while, but we finally got the funding to it. Now, my problem here today, the funding is there, but I know how inflation is got. That's their business. We're looking for an end to that project. I've been set up here to let y'all guys know that we need to see some more active work out there. And I was getting hot, but Brad cooled me off before I got in here. Mr. Brad says they already have had a conversation with the contractors, and they're gonna be coming out more visible, and so that's kind of cooled the water down a little bit for me. But I just expect the road to be paved because I'm interested in the taxes too. I'm like, I'm a senior citizen. I may not look it, but I'm high senior. But it's just, you know, the main thing that I want to share with me as a pastor, as a man, we all in Bulloch County and the United States. The government was formed by the people, for the people. And what we have to go to doing now is demanding accountability. That's just the bottom line. If we would have done the right thing 2 years ago, we wouldn't have been in this shape. We would not have been in this shape. There was plenty of oil, we were lost fishing, we had everything. What happened? What happened? We got relaxed. I don't like the attitude of the person, but that ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm looking for results. That's what it's all about. It's results. It ain't about an attitude. You know why I can say that? Because my people in my congregation don't like me. But you know what I tell them? I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to tell you the truth. That's what it's all about. And I'm commissioner board. I'm like Brother Pope. I thought about considering running for the board of commissioners, but some told me I better not get there. Because I won't stay here long. And I wouldn't probably have the job no more. Y'all got made a decision. Y'all have a really tough decision to make. And you know, you're doing what you can do. But it's rough to try to please the people. But just do what's right. That's all I ask y'all. Just do what's right. Thank you.